Wisdom from Dads, Episode 3, reaction from Episode 2, where we talked about excelling at being a second dad. We're getting the reactions from my wife, Natalie, and my daughter, Aurora. So my wife, Natalie Eckdahl, who's host of Biz Chicks podcast, which I produce for her, has been gracious enough on Father's Day to play episode number 2 on her podcast. And so welcome to all the Biz Chicks listeners who happen to have come by to catch the reactions from episode number 2 that you heard on Biz Chicks podcast. This is Mark from Wisdom from Dads, providing a new perspective on lessons for the family, including entertaining stories, knowledge, humor, life lessons, mistakes, heartbreaks, and true love. All delivered so you can share it with your family, either by the fire, after dinner, even on a hike, and thus generate lively, fun discussions for your own family. Let's strengthen our families together. So we just sat down and listened to the episode together as a family. 3 hearts as one, back listening to this podcast.
Back in time.
Oh, yes.
So, how did you guys like it?
I didn't like it. I loved it.
Thank you, Aurora.
Well, one of the best parts was watching Aurora's face, because I had, you had shared with me kind of the raw audio before you edited it. So I had heard a lot of what you shared, and so one of the best parts was just watching Aurora and watching you watch Aurora and her reaction. She just, it was very sweet.
My face when you realized I had to give feedback, gosh.
Yeah, we didn't know that we were going to be on Wisdom from Dads.
So were there any other stories that I didn't tell that are interesting, or any other opinions about what was shared that you guys want to add in?
I'd like to just add in a little bit about kind of the proposal day. Oh, it was such a crazy day, as you described, and I literally could not believe you were proposing to me.
No, you thought he was having a heart attack.
You were acting very straight. You were, I was tired. I think, we'd been to the hot tub. My mascara was running. I was in, workout clothes or, yoga pants. I wasn't looking my best. And, you were, going to be heading back to your place soon. And, I was just like, why you were rambling, and you don't ramble. You're kind of a man of few words. Definitely. And so you're rambling. You're standing up in the kitchen and I'm sitting down at the table, and I was kind of distracted, and you were
sitting on the bar stool.
Was I?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Because you reenacted it for me 3 times.
I forgot. She made us reenact the whole thing.
No,
for her.
you asked to reenact it. You were like, do you want us to reenact it for you, Aurora?
Maybe because it was a blur. But Mark was just rambling, and and so and you were talking about your heart, and
No. He was. You were like he touched his head, and you're like, "Are you okay? Is your head okay?" And he's like, "It's my heart I'm worried about."
Yes, and that's right. He's like, "It's my heart I'm worried about."
And then you're like, "What's wrong with your heart?"
It's like, "Do we need to go to the ER?" And so when I realized what was happening, that he was proposing to me, I just thought, honestly, when I reflected back on it, and even in that moment, I thought, if you want to marry me after the day we've had, then you do get what you're signing up for, because this has been an insane day. And Aurora is amazing, super talented young woman, but she's she's not the easiest person to parent.
Nah.
It's like trying to ride a thoroughbred if you're a jockey. Aurora is full of personality. She's strong-willed. She has a huge mind of her own. She's super smart. She's has a quick wit. And so we're on our toes here with Aurora. So I was
not sure whether I should be insulted or not.
I know. So I was glad that Mark understood that and I liked hearing you share that you were signing up for a package, it was a package deal.
I am a package.
That it was. It was your family really that I was coming in on.
I don't know when we transitioned from, because and Mark and I actually had advice early on that Mark shouldn't take over authority with Aurora, so that she, as part of their getting to know each other, as he said, he used my authority with Aurora. He didn't use his own. As he said, like the whole clean your room thing. He didn't say, Aurora, go clean your room. He'd say, your mom said to clean your room. You need to follow through with that. And then over time, I don't know when it's happened, but somehow that shifted because you guys now have your own relationship. Mm-hmm. I'm not part of it. And a lot of times now I'm like, Mark, I can't deal with this.
Resolve it on your own.
You need to go deal with Aurora. I cannot. She's tapped me out. And so I don't know. Do you guys know when that shifted? It kind of was seamless to me. Maybe
it was yesterday. Maybe tomorrow.
No, I don't remember in particular, but
This is Aurora speaking.
I think that probably the thing that changed the most was I wasn't afraid of your scary voice anymore.
Boom.
Yeah.
The scary
No, but
voice.
I would like cry every time you talked to me because his voice was so scary. He was like, "Oh, just man," I'm like, but often he's unintentionally funny.
So were there any other stories that I should have told that I missed?
One of the things that I think was helpful in your relationship getting to where it is now, which is you guys are extremely close.
Oh yeah.
And so like sometimes I worry that if Aurora had to choose between me and Mark, she might choose Mark. Some days that would definitely happen. But I was thinking one of the things that really facilitated that is that, you've mentioned the love languages, which is from the book, The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. And, quality time is important to you, Mark. And so you tend to go out of your way to spend time with us as a family and to be at Aurora's activities. Like you almost never miss one. And so I think that you're just like constant physical presence and being there has created a closeness for you guys. Well, the other thing I would say, Mark, I think that, you've said you had intention when you like met me and you knew that you wanted to date me and you knew about Aurora, of course, that you realized that you had to get 2 girls to fall in love with you.
Yes, I did.
I'm in love.
And he did. He got 2 girls to fall in love with him because the truth is I wasn't going to marry someone that Aurora didn't accept and that I couldn't.
So I could have kicked him out.
She didn't know the
Now
power.
you had the veto power.
She didn't know the power she had at the time. But
Ouch!
But yeah, so I was really, that was a concern of mine, was, how my being in another relationship would impact Aurora because she came before Mark. And so she was,
But I don't come before you.
You don't come before me?
No.
What do you mean?
Mark's like, no.
Well, now in our marriage comes first.
No.
And because everything would be off balance if the kids came first. So marriage has to come first.
True.
Because in the end, you guys are going to leave and Mark and I are left alone.
That's depressing.
Just us.
Or exciting.
Yes. Yes.
Well then.
Vacation.
The way you talked about my quote unquote adversarial relationship with Lacey.
When you were little.
I was like 7 for you listeners out there. I was 6. I would have been 6.
6, yeah.
I would have been 6. And, I have something to say. So, when I was very young, I had a lot of imaginary friends.
Yes.
And
17.
17 of them, the kids in my first grade class, pretty much. And whenever we would go somewhere, I would insist that we play with the 17 kids for like a year or so. And they played along, but Mark was especially good. He had to be like 5 different people at once and was like, I'm so confused, but he was good. and I remember like walking around at like the pool and being like, "No, you say this," and he said it very well.
I had blocked out your 17 friends. So Aurora, I think it was were you lonely being an only child? So you had a lot of, literally she would have her entire first grade class would come with us and do things with us. So I remember one time we were on a hike, walking, what we call it Rattlesnake Trail because we saw
a rattlesnake there.
Yeah.
And Mark was so brave. He didn't kill the rattlesnake. He saved us from the rattlesnake.
He saved us from the rattlesnake. So then after that, we always called it Rattlesnake Trail. But whenever we would go for a walk there, it was like this loop and not too far from our house and kind of in an outdoorsy area, which was fun. But Aurora would have these scenarios we would have to play out, and she would direct us. So she would.
There was some complicated storyline going on that you had to keep up on.
It would get so complicated. And first of all, Mark didn't even know who these kids were. So at least
I had never met these kids.
I was like room mom, so I knew every single kid, and so I at least knew who they were. And Mark, you know, you're good with names, but you're not amazing with names. So you're having to keep track of these 17 imaginary people that you never met. And at some point I finally was like, Aurora, we can't handle these many names. Like you need to like break it down to like 5 or 6 that could be with us. And her storylines would be very elaborate. Aurora's very creative. She's actually a writer. And so her creativity sometimes was hard for Mark and I. Our minds aren't as creative as hers is. So
I apologize for my.
But I think
prowess.
those were things that from a woman considering marriage. When I saw Mark how you interacted with Aurora and played along with her and that you could be a part of this imaginary world that she was creating, those were big points in my book. So I want to touch on our wedding day really quick. And Mark and I both felt it was important to include you, Aurora, in that day. I know that you're hearing some things that you didn't really know background stories of.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. But I think that it was really fantastic, Mark, that you were on board and coming up with a lot of ideas on how we could include her and that you wanted to present her with a token. Really, you made vows to her.
Yeah, you did. He did like a ceremonial vow to me.
Yeah, so first you made vows to me, and then I kind of stepped to the side and you made vows to Aurora and you got down low on her level. I love that picture. It's a picture of it.
And I put the necklace on her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had a song play, and Mark and I kind of moved away to the side and with Aurora and talked to her, and that we were becoming a family of 3, now 3 hearts. And then, so I thought that was really powerful that we could include Aurora in our ceremony, because it really was not just about one man and one woman getting married. It was about one man marrying a woman with a daughter. And so it was nice that you were on board with that, because I don't think every guy, it was your first marriage. You could have said, you know what, I just want it to be you and Aurora can be the flower girl, which you were anyway.
I was.
When you wanted to be.
A gorgeous dress.
But you could have said, I just want it to be about us.
I really wanted the family. I wanted to set at the very start that it wasn't just the 2 of us, that it was the 3 of us, and that Aurora was part of the family, and that she was a full-fledged daughter from the very beginning.
Well, and then we went on an awesome honeymoon, you and I, alone to Fiji.
And then you got stuck on the island.
Yeah, we got delayed
until Thursday.
We got delayed a couple of days, but our plan when we came back was to have a family moon with Aurora, and we let her choose what to do. And really what we figured out from talking to you, you didn't even want to go to a hotel. That wasn't important to you. You wanted to stay home, and you wanted to go to water slides and the beach.
Oh, that was so much fun.
So we did a staycation with you. Oh, we went to the fair, because that was actually one of
our... We
our...
went to the fair 3 hours after you got home from Fiji.
We did. We got home from Fiji, and we had this whole plan in place, and Aurora had been waiting for us. And so we literally landed and went to the Orange County Fair.
The significance of the fair was that was the first place I had gone with Mom and Mark together.
What was your first date
It was
with
like
Mark?
the year before my first date. Yes, it was interesting.
One of my earliest memories with Aurora was going to the beach, and I brought soy.
Oh, that
chocolate
cherry ice
vanilla
cream!
ice cream.
Oh,
And she had
that
never
was
had ice cream
beautiful.
before, and our family grew up having ice cream and enjoying it. So I'm like, I think that soy ice cream is something that she should try.
And the reason it was soy is because Aurora's lactose intolerant.
Oh,
so
yes,
at the time, I think you'd only had sorbet. We hadn't found soy ice cream.
Oh my goodness!
so-
Oh my goodness! We still have that ice cream sometimes, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, that was just a ton of fun to go have my girls, Natalie and Aurora, listen to that with me and then to capture their reactions. If you are a father on Father's Day, happy Father's Day. You are a rock star. Happy Father's Day to my dad, Larry Eckdahl, and to Natalie's dad, Craig Cook. We will see you at the beach tomorrow, Craig, because that's our plans for Father's Day. And if you get a chance, I would love your ratings and reviews. And thank you, everyone, for coming and listening. If you want the show notes or to hear more episodes, they're at wisdomfromdads.com. Have a great day.
This concludes the episode of Wisdom from Dad.